I'm going to Europe and North Africa for 1 month, and I'm only bringing this backpack. Let me show you what I pack into it and why I chose Cotopaxi 35 liter. Let's start with the bag. This is the Allpa 35 liter. They make a 28 liter, I believe, that seems better for like a week trip or a weekend trip. But for a full month, this is definitely the size you want. Cotopaxi has a larger bag that's more of a duffel, but I think this is a really nice combination between a normal backpack and a duffel that really just feels like a normal backpack when you're walking around. The Del Dia basically means they take whatever is the fabric of the day and then you can choose which combination of fabrics. I find it gives it a sense of personality, and also you can strategically choose things like a more neutral green and a very bright yellow on the side, so that not too obvious when you're walking around, but if you do need to be spotted, this will be super useful. Let's get into what the bag looks like on the inside. So one of the nicest features about this bag is that it opens up like a suitcase. So there is a left and right of the bag. On the right, this is a full-size space. You can put anything you would in a normal size suitcase and easily get access. There's also a zipper on the side here if you need to get access to a bag or something while you're traveling and don't want to get everything unpacked. Then on the left side, there's about 2/3 of this is another space that is against the exterior of the bag, as well as these two small pockets where I'm currently keeping the rain cover, because this is not really waterproof by itself, as well as some masks in case you get sick. The outside is pretty simple, but there is this one large pocket. There's a smaller pocket inside, as well as a little bit of organization. One of the things I like about this bag is it's not too organization heavy, especially when you're packing for a month. You don't want to over-organize, like things need to be in general locations, but 20 small pockets, you're just gonna lose something. So we have the final feature, the laptop sleeve, which is enough space for a full-size laptop as well as a tablet. Last year when I used this bag, I actually had my MacBook Air 13-inch as well as an external monitor that was about, I think, 20 inches long. So that external monitor fit fine. This is resting against your back. There's some padding, but you will feel irregular shapes after a long day of walking. So one of the key things I use to keep everything organized as well as fit as much as possible into the bag are packing cubes. These are just some random ones from Amazon. They're called Baggu, but any packing cubes will do, but it's specifically when they have a compression aspect, because that extra 5-10% really makes a difference when you're putting it into one small backpack. So this one I use for more of my bulkier items, let's say more irregular items. So the first thing are pants. These are just a pair of like khaki colored jeans. They're pretty durable. They don't take up too much space, and they're good for dressing up a little bit as well as getting down in the dirt if I'm in somewhere dustier like Northern Africa. Next I have this knitted short sleeve shirt type thing. It's a little nicer than the t-shirt. It's very loose. It's my let's get luxury, a little bit nicer, a little bit more space item, which I usually like to have 1 or 2 of them. Last time I was traveling was in November and I went for a full sweater. And this is the alternative since it's still gonna be pretty hot where I am. Next we have something that is multifunctional. So these are swim trunks from Fair Harbor. We have AIR Harbor. What's nice about them, they look relatively nice. They're a swimsuit, but they have a lining that is basically underwear material, just dries a little bit better. So these can be multifunctional for workout shorts as well as swim trunks, because when you can do things that are multifunctional, you can save some space. Next, I have a button down. This is just a white button down. It does get a little bit wrinkled when it's folded up, but the wrinkles tend to come out pretty easily, or you throw it in the shower wherever you're showering. I've actually worn this many times and it stayed white pretty easily. And the nice thing about a white when you're wearing a lot of black when doing one bag travel is it makes the outfit look more exciting by just adding a white shirt. Another button down option is just this kind of dark blue button down. So you never know if you're gonna need to be a little more dressed up, a little less dressed up. This also goes in the packing cube. Finally, I have this sweatshirt that would go in the packing cube if I needed it to, but I'm gonna be wearing this on the plane. But it could fit in the cube if I needed it to. Then we just zip it up, zip down the compression part, which is not that much right now because the sweatshirt is in there. And then finally, give it a lice to get it flat. So the cube will be going in the main compartment as I move on to the next thing to pack up. So this is everyone's favorite, underwear and socks. There's nothing particularly interesting to talk about these other than the number of them. So when looking at my itinerary, I calculated how many days I have, where I have 2 days in one place, enough time to wash something. I've learned if you have 1 night, you're really not gonna be able to wash something in time, so you really do need those 2 nights. So based on that, I calculated 5 days as a minimum and went for 7, so there's a little bit more margin of error. So I just take all of those and put them into the packing cube. And like that, it all fits. So this is also gonna go in the main compartment. Then 2 more things for this compartment. First are Tevas. These are great as secondary pairs of shoes. I have sneakers as my main shoes, but these are good for going to the beach, quasi-water shoes. The shoes get wet for some reason, and they fold pretty much flat. A wash bag. It's enough to do basically a load of laundry for 5 to 6 days of laundry. folds pretty flat. Put it into the main compartment, and this side is ready. So the next and final packing cube is for t-shirts. So I'm bringing a total of 7 t-shirts. They all fit pretty easily, so, and voila, the third packing cube. Press it down, and then time to put it into the bag. So this is gonna go in the other compartment, which leaves the bag of toiletries. One other piece of clothing is this windbreaker / rain jacket. The nice thing about it is it folds up into a pouch right there with all the other bags. I also have 2 hats and lay on top of the rest of the bags. Zipped up, and we're good to go on the inside. So with the inside packed up, we can zip it up and move on to the outside pouch. First thing I have is a bag of medicine. This is janky. It's just an old IKEA plastic bag with lots of plastic bags inside, but this has been a lifesaver. Everything's in here. Because it's all plastic bags, it stays very small. I even have a full thermometer in here, and it doesn't take up that much space. Next, we have technology. This little GoPro container is basically my content creation pack. Additionally, I have my Sony WH-1000XM4 Mark IV, I believe they are. And 2 final things to go in this outside container are another external battery, as well as the microphones that you're seeing here. And one final thing that I put in here is a Baggu. So this is just a expandable, reusable bag. It's great if you're doing grocery shopping, when you're traveling, if you're at an Airbnb or something. Also, I have a pretty small personal item. So sometimes if I need to consolidate a few things, maybe it's a jacket, maybe it's a sandwich, maybe it's whatever, I can put the personal item into this bag and more easily get around. And then zip up the pocket with all the things in there. And that's your one bag, packed and ready to go. But what about my phone, my passport, other personal things? That I keep in a small personal bag, a small sling bag. So this is the Sling Bag by Lunchbox. Lunchbox, I think, is like an EDM festival company, but it's a really interesting sling bag because there's a place for a water bottle on the outside. One of my prized tech possessions for travel is this Anker Gallium Nitrate Prime charger / battery. It is ingenious. It has 2 USB-C, 1 USB-A, and it's a 5,000 milliamp, roughly, battery. So when you're charging devices at night, it's also charging the battery. So you always have some amount of battery. This is usually enough for 1.5 charges of an iPhone 14 Pro. The worst thing that can happen is you think you have an external battery and it's dead. This means that even if you need more power, you at least know that you have some on hand. And it works extremely well and fits right in my bag. Of course, we need AirPods, Apple Watch charger for the Apple Watch, a nice eye mask for the plane. This little pocket is generally for your phone. If you're at a festival or something, it's anti-theft, but it works extremely well for passports because it keeps it right against your body. It's really hard for someone to get to, so that slides in quite easily. This is a USB-A to Lightning, which I don't normally need, but if you ever get a rental car, a little one like this is a lifesaver because most rental cars still don't have USB-C. Fortunately, since I'm going everywhere that has a 2-prong round adapter, I don't need a universal adapter, I can just get away with it. Solo use one. Using one adapter is so much more convenient because they tend to be much more stable. And they actually have the circle part that goes into a lot of the adapters in Europe, so you can more easily put your devices into it. But of course, I have more than just my bag, I have what's on my body. So I have the sweatshirt, the t-shirt I was wearing, and these Bluffworks travel pants, the Ascendors. They're great, they don't wrinkle too much, they look pretty nice, they're pretty durable, lots of pockets, and lots of safety features. Because it might get cold some places, I also have a jacket. It's just like an old army surplus type jacket, but it's relatively durable, relatively thick, can dress up, can dress down. While I'm not wearing all this on the plane necessarily, I'm gonna bring it all with me outside of the bag because planes, they can get cold. But what's nice about this jacket is it does fold very flat, so it can fit into the in-between of the 2 parts of the bag. So all my bags are packed and I'm ready to go. Put the sling on, move the sling to the front, put the backpack on, and off to the airport.